Going to be away,
my friend,
Joy.
I want to talk to you about the
Anticipate.
bombing, my friend.
Yes.
And some things that you recently said. You know I like you, right? Okay. I'd love to give you the opportunity to perhaps change your position on what you said.
I'm not changing a thing.
Okay.
I didn't stutter when I said it.
You want to stay loud and wrong?
Caffeine's a bitch, you know?
Now, let me just remind you that
Stephen A. Smith absolutely dismantled The View and every one of their talking points, focusing much of his attention on Sunny Hostin, who thought she could pressure him into publicly apologizing for his comments criticizing certain Democrats. And it did not go her way. Just watch.
So let's talk about this, because Trump is claiming that he aced the cognitive test. Even though he's going on late-night Truth Social tirades, in the middle of the night, he's texting and calling Governor Walz a name that we don't use anymore to disability. He's attacking female reporters as piggy and ugly. He's falling asleep in the middle of a meeting. I mean, I said yesterday that Marco Rubio is boring, but not that boring that he would fall asleep. So what do you think's going on with him?
Trump is being Trump.
Really? There's nothing cognitively wrong there?
Well, I'm not saying whether there is or isn't. What I'm saying is 77 million people don't care. They voted for him. And those same 77 million people
Is it
will
still
do it
that
again.
number?
They would do it. Well, you could say that it is or isn't, but the point is he's the president of the United States. Despite the onslaught of stuff that was coming his way, he knocked off folks, and the Democrats let him because they weren't on their game. Now you have to look at, because obviously he's not going to circumvent the 22nd Amendment, which will enable him to run for a third term. So now you're talking about J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio is considered the adult in the room, the Secretary of State, National Defense, National Security Advisor. You got J.D. Vance, he's the vice president, but he seems more Trump-ish in terms of how he conducts himself and how he's willing to go after people. So who is Trump going to support? One of the things that I talked about on my show was that I said, don't fall for it. Look at what Trump is doing. Trump is positioning himself to remain in power even if he isn't the president. He wants to make sure he maintains that level of influence. And so because of, you see what he's done with the Honduras president, letting him out, pardoning him, even though the man is alleged to assist in funneling 400 tons of cocaine into the United States.
He was serving 45 years.
He was serving 45 years, absolutely. And you let him out in the same breath. You're bombing people in the Caribbean for the very thing that you said was a problem.
Well, let's talk about the bombing.
He's doing what he's doing, but in the end, what it comes down to is that you're going to have to beat him because he is going to make sure he dictates who his successor is going to be.
If he stays awake.
Anticipate he's going to be awake.
My friend,
Joy.
I want to talk to you about the bombing.
Joy really thinks she's in a position to question anyone else's cognitive health? Because for years, we all watched Biden stumble through speeches, lose his train of thought mid-sentence, shuffle around on stage, and clearly struggle in real time, while they told us everything was perfectly fine. And not just fine, but that he was in the best shape of his life, fully fit to run again. But she has the nerve to accuse Trump of not being able to stay awake. But let's continue with the video and hear what Sunny has to say.
My friend. And some things that you recently said. You know I like you, right? Okay, so you recently accused Senator Mark Kelly, a veteran, an astronaut, of crossing the line for participating in a video reminding troops that they can refuse to follow illegal orders. Let's see some of what you said, my friend.
Sure.
Her attitude is so nasty. Just look at her expressions and the way she keeps saying, my friend.
Let's see some of what you said, my friend.
Sure.
You know better, Senator Kelly. You know better. How dare you do that? You could go to the House. You can put up drawer up paperwork. You can try to start articles of impeachment if you think there's something illegal. I mean, damn, it ain't like y'all haven't done it before. You impeached the man twice. Where'd that get you? Got us behind back in the White House. Had you left him alone since 2020, maybe he wouldn't be back. You don't tell military men and women to ignore an order from the commander-in-chief. You don't do that.
Caffeine's a bitch, you know?
Now, let me just remind you that Pete Hegseth said in 2016, I do think there have to be consequences for abject war crimes. If you're doing something that is just completely unlawful and ruthless, then there is a consequence for that. That's why the military said it won't follow unlawful orders from their commander-in-chief. Now, given the fact that the secretary himself said that, I'd love to give you the opportunity to perhaps change your position on what you said.
I'm not changing a thing.
Okay.
I didn't stutter when I said it.
You want to stay loud and wrong?
Well, you could call it loud and wrong all you want to. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to mine. Here's
Okay.
the reality of the situation. First of all, I don't give a damn what Pete Hegseth has to say because I will tell you right now, he was never qualified for the job. When you talk about DEI and eradicating that, excuse me, what was he doing hosting Fox News on the weekend and all of a sudden he's the defense secretary? Please, give me a break. I don't care what he has to say. Let me get that out the way. As it pertains to Mark Kelly, what I was talking about is military. What I did was get on the phone with family and friends who have served in the military. And I said, we're not civilians. This is not the court of law. You can be implicated for implying something if you are a former military member or you are a present military member. It wasn't what Mark Kelly said. It's the fact that he was a combat Navy pilot who served in the military who would tell folks, ignore an order when it could get
Ignore
them
an
in the
illegal
wrong.
He did not say
I said
ignore.
illegal.
What he said.
I said illegal. I'm talking about legal. I understand that.
He said you don't have to follow an unlawful order, and that is in the military code of conduct.
And I'm saying to you, hold on.
So, if it's in the military code of conduct, why did he feel the need to gather a crew and do this?
I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer. Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community.
Who take risks each day to keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now. Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals.
Against American citizens.
like us. You all swore an oath.
To protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad, but from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law or our Constitution.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
The Army,
Our Navy,
the Air Force,
your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
The American people need you. We need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution,
and who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
Multiple sources suggest that Mark Kelly didn't act alone, and that certain NGOs were supposedly feeding him talking points and messaging. That it wasn't just his casual opinion, but a coordinated effort to shape how people view the military chain of command. And it seems like that's how the Democrats work. They hand out these prepackaged narratives, and everyone just repeats the same talking points over and over again. And The View gets their memo too.
Understand that.
He said you don't have to follow an unlawful order, and that is in the military code of conduct.
And I'm saying to you, hold on, which I'm aware of.
But it didn't sound like you were aware of that.
Well,
during your
no.
show.
I disagree with you. It
Stephen,
sounded
can
like
I ask you a question?
I had two governors, by the way, text me to tell me I was wrong, and they agree with you.
You are wrong.
I had two senators that reached out to me and said, you weren't wrong at all.
Well, Mikey,
Sunny just can't help herself. The minute someone says something that doesn't fit her beliefs, she has to jump in and let them know they're wrong and that she knows everything because she's the smartest person in the room. And do you notice how she doesn't even wait to hear any facts? That's because none of them like facts or to be fact-checked. It's like they've already made up their minds not to say the truth, but to say whatever it is they want their audience to believe. And I feel like that's what it's all about, shaping the public's perception. The same reason Mark Kelly made that video, to shake up trust in our military. Just think about it. There was absolutely no need for members of Congress to make a video telling military service members not to follow illegal orders, because every single service member already knows they have a duty to refuse an unlawful order. So there's an obvious implication that they wanted people to believe that illegal orders were about to start coming in from the Trump administration. And this isn't the first time we've seen this type of stuff. It's the same playbook they used when they told everyone Donald Trump was a threat to democracy. And it's the same one they used with the No Kings protest. Because nobody in America thinks we have a king. And that slogan only makes sense if you're trying to convince people that Donald Trump is trying to become one. And if that's not the case, then the message and the paid protesters are pointless. It's almost like they want to create and control the narratives all across the board. And another thing I think has become a bigger problem with the Democratic Party is that they tend to avoid honest debate. They literally try to avoid it at all costs and refuse to do any research for the truth. It's like they'll do anything to protect their narrative, and in order to do that, they've convinced themselves that no matter what they say, they're never wrong. And Sunny is a great example of that. She's become so smug and arrogant that the idea of being wrong never even crosses her mind. And it's not just her opinions, but her constant attitude where she feels like she's morally and intellectually above everyone else. So that gives her the right to treat anyone who disagrees with her like they're ignorant. And I think the best part of this clip was the fact that Sunny didn't seem prepared for for Stephen A. to challenge her argument. She thought he was actually going to apologize, and when he stood his ground and refused, you could literally see her whole energy shift, from her tone to her expressions. Because for some reason, anytime someone goes on that show that doesn't share the same view as them, they get treated like straight garbage. But that's just my opinion. I would love to know your thoughts on this in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, and please consider subscribing to the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.